On the track for the first one, Over Charming Lady, owned by Adkins, Morrison, Adkins, and Henshin, Sandy Beatty. 2 is Bexley, owned by Smith, Kesey, and Cunningham, Bob Harper. 3 is She's a Lucky Copy, owned by Shelva Evans with Greg Grismore. 4 is Main Gate Ms. Final, owned by Michael Koval with Jeff Kirkbride. 5, Cinder B is owned by Mullenix and Willis, Jim Daly. 6, Dinah's Legacy, owned by Alfred Skurler with Jeff Fout. 7 is Dennis Reed's Autumn Message and Dean Collins. 8, LT's Rising Star, owned by Terry Van Roden, Ty Van Roden. 9, Butterfly Hanover, owned by Sharp and Langfelder, Dave Hawk. And the 10 is With a Little Luck, owned and driven by Dwayne Lowe. 6 minutes to post time for race 1. Trotters are in the backstretch. Way back on a break is the 9, Butterfly Hanover. And they're off. Moving on for the lead from the center of the track goes Cinder B. Also up close, She's a Lucky Copy. Gap of 2.5. Bexley comes away in third. Next, Main Gate Ms. Final will drop in fourth. About 8 off the lead, though, as Cinder B is very loose up top and racing about 3 wide into the turn. Getting away in fifth position, Over Charming Lady, followed next by Dinah's Legacy. Then it's Autumn Message, another 2.5 more to With a Little Luck. And then it's about 10 lengths back to LT's Rising Star and much farther back to Butterfly Hanover. Passing the stands for the first time, off stride up top went Cinder B. That leaves it up to She's a Lucky Copy. She's a Lucky Copy is now your race leader. Bexley in the pocket second, followed by Main Gate Ms. Final third up on the outside. Next in line, Over Charming Lady races in fourth. Dinah's Legacy fifth. Autumn Message from the inside is sixth. 2 farther back to With a Little Luck. And then it's 3.5 more to LT's Rising Star, followed by Cinder B, who's still on a break. In the distant trailer remains Butterfly Hanover as they pass the half in 1:02 flat. Rounding the turn into the backstretch, She's a Lucky Copy. Back down the second quarter considerably. It was 32-4. Leads it by a length and a half. Bexley tucks back in second. 2 farther back to Main Gate Ms. Final third. Over Charming Lady on the outside, gaining ground from fourth. And Dinah's Legacy is in gear with the cover trip fifth. 3 more to Autumn Message, and they're at the 3/4. And it's She's a Lucky Copy, flanked by Over Charming Lady in 1:32-1. Around the far turn, She's a Lucky Copy a half length in front. Over Charming Lady a threatening second. Bexley third. Dinah's Legacy is off stride as they make their way into the stretch. It's She's a Lucky Copy leading it by a length. Over Charming Lady the outside, Bexley at the rail, followed by Main Gate Ms. Final, who has some late trot, and Autumn Message on the far outside. They've consumed She's a Lucky Copy. Over Charming Lady outside Main Gate Ms. Final. Over Charming Lady just held on. Main Gate Ms. Final second. Looked like Bexley was third. Into the winner's circle, Over Charming Lady, her first victory and her first start. She's a 3-year-old daughter of Overcomer out of Solar B by Armbro Solar, owned by the partnership of Adkins, Morrison, Adkins, and Henshin of Ohio. Robert McKim, the winning trainer. Sandy Beatty is the winning driver. 2:03-1 for Over Charming Lady. Here's your order of finish for race 1. Over Charming Lady, the winner. Bexley third. She's a Lucky Copy was fifth. Main Gate Ms. Final second. Cinder B ninth. Dinah's Legacy eighth. Autumn Message fourth. LT's Rising Star was seventh. Butterfly Hanover 10th. And With a Little Luck was sixth. The rundown from the top is 1:35. For the second, 1 is Fritzy Sunkiss, owned by Fritz and McHenry, Jim Daly. 2, Arizona Jill, owned by Gail Potter, Jeff Fout. 3, Max Gwen, owned by Turbulent Air Inc., Kane Kaufman. 4, Gotta Go Samantha, owned by Rebecca Green with Jeff Nysonger. 5, Go Go April, owned by Scott Ferguson, and He Drives. From post 6, it's Stonewall Melissa. She's owned and driven by Mark Winters. The 7 horse is Thomas Morrow's Hidden Affair and Don Feaster. 8 is Big Nature, owned by Larry Roberts with Darren Mauser. The 9 horse is Look at the Sissy, owned by Richard Long with Chip Noble. And off the second tier, Crown Time Sandy, the 10 horse, owned by Esther Crownover and driven by Earl Owings. Post time is in 6 minutes. And they're off and pacing. Fritzy Sunkiss shows good early foot from the inside. There's Stonewall Melissa. Extreme Outside Hidden Affair is up close. Max Gwen is off stride. Crown Time Sandy comes into fourth position. 3 in front of Look at the Sissy on the far outside fifth, but she's about 10 off the early lead. Then it's another 3 more to Arizona Jill to the inside of Gotta Go Samantha. 3.5 farther back to Go Go April. Max Gwen is recovered, and the trailer is Big Nature. They're by the opening quarter, 27-3. That's pretty fast for these as they pace in front of the stands for the first time. And winning the early dispute for the lead, Hidden Affair and Don Feaster. They've opened up 2.5. Stonewall Melissa second. Fritzy Sunkiss third. Crown Time Sandy fourth as the field tightens down. Look at the Sissy settled in fifth. Arizona Jill peaks to the outside sixth. And looking to pick up the cover is Gotta Go Samantha as they round the turn. Go Go April is third last. Big Nature moves up alongside of that one. And Max Gwen is last of the 10. 59-2 for the half. Off the turn and down the backstretch. Hidden Affair on the inside. Here's a hard charge from Crown Time Sandy on the outside. Crown Time Sandy with the nose in front. Hidden Affair is trying to hang her up in second, but it looks like she's going to give up the top spot and the rail. 2.5 lengths farther back to Stonewall Melissa in third. Outside Arizona Jill is 4 off the pace, grinding it out fourth. Along the rail, Fritzy Sunkiss is boxed in fifth. Alongside is Gotta Go Samantha, who's following cover. And then it's Look at the Sissy. 3 wide Max Gwen from the back of the pack. Go Go April and Big Nature in 1:28-4. And moving to the top of the stretch, Crown Time Sandy has built up a 3.5 length lead, but she's starting to come back to the field a bit now. Closing on the outside, Arizona Jill. Gotta Go Samantha is there. Hidden Affair is there along the rail. And Max Gwen is flying on the far outside. But inside of 16th, Crown Time Sandy is still well clear. Max Gwen with a shot to catch her. Crown Time Sandy shortening up. Max Gwen the outside. Crown Time Sandy just held on. Max Gwen second. Gotta Go Samantha third. Crown Time Sandy holds on for the score. 2 minutes flat. 3-year-old Bay Filly by Chauncey out of Miracle Kelly by Miracle Knight, owned by Esther Crownover, trained and driven by Earl Owings in 2 minutes. $4.60. Here's your rundown for the second race. Fritzy Sunkiss was 5th placed 6th for interference just past the 3/4. Here they are for the third race. 1 is Yonder, owned by Stephen DeLong with Brett Miller. 2 is Bert's Brother Ernie, owned by Betty Jean Jordan with Chip Noble. 3 is Out. 4 is Greg's Hoot, owned by Gary Massajuski with Rick Heitman. 5, Let's Do It Now, owned by Clarence DeLong, Greg Grismore up. 6, New Bucks, owned and driven by Greg Luther. 7 is Tombola Bomba, owned by Tammy Ackley, Dean Gillespie. 8 is Downwind Penske, owned by Kathy Hawk, Dave Hawk drives. 9, Ryan's Future, owned by Albert and Cheryl Van Shake, Jack Daly. And the 10 is Good Allegris, owned by Stephen Watkins with Bob Harper. 6 minutes to post time for the third. In the backstretch, and there they go. And they're off. Downwind Penske goes gunning for the top. Let's Do It Now between horses. New Bucks 3 wide. Yonder comes away at the rail in fourth. 2 in front of Bert's Brother Ernie. Next in line is Greg's Hoot, followed by Good Allegris. Then it's Tombalabamba. And Ryan's Future is last in the field as they move to head stretch for the first time. It's Downwind Penske making the early pace, leading Let's Do It Now by a margin of 2. Then it's 2 farther back to Yonder in third. Bert's Brother Ernie. New Bucks looks to drive on early. Opening quarter 27-3, passing the stands for the first time. 7-2 shot. Downwind Penske and Dave Hawk are up top, leading it by a deuce. Tracked by Let's Do It Now second. Span of 3 Yonder third. New Bucks hung out fourth. Bert's Brother Ernie from the inside fifth. Greg's Hoot, the rail ride in sixth. Good Allegris comes to the outside to grab cover in seventh. Then it's Tombalabamba, and Ryan's Future is last. They're over to halftime with Downwind Penske on the lead in 58-2. Downwind Penske on top by a length and a half down the backstretch. Let's Do It Now in the pocket second. 2 farther back, Yonder third. New Bucks is in gear on the outside, and now he continues to gain ground in fourth. 2 farther back to Bert's Brother Ernie. Good Allegris is trying to catch the cover, 4 off the lead. Third over is Ryan's Future, followed by Greg's Hoot, and then it's Tombalabamba who trails the field. They're approaching the 3/4. Downwind Penske is now leading it by 3.5. New Bucks is stalled on the outside of Let's Do It Now, and Yonder is sent up around cover, 3/4, 128 flat. Bound for the head of the stretch, it's Downwind Penske on top by 6 lengths. Yonder into second. New Bucks labors third. Let's Do It Now drops out of it. Ryan's Future on the far outside. Greg's Hoot finally shook loose inside of 16th. It's Downwind Penske all alone. Yonder second, late pace Ryan's Future, Greg's Hoot, Downwind Penske in front. Yonder just held on to second from Greg's Hoot and Ryan's Future. And a merger out of Nero's Indy by Nero, owned by Kathy Hawk, trained by Lloyd Hawk, and driven to victory by Dave Hawk. Trotters for race 4, 1 Sir Chad, owned by Yaney Neff and Big E Stables. Bob Harper up. 2 is Worthy Chaplain, owned by Bill Farris, Don McCurgan. 3 is West Lane, owned by Jim Duckworth, and he drives. 4 is O Clarence, owned by William Lane, Kyle Ader. 5 Took the Call, owned by Joseph Lanning, Dave Hawk. 6 horse is Ultimo Mac, owned by McQuillan and Clemens, Chip Noble drives. 7 is McGehee, owned by Mary Dye and Mark Winters. Mark Winters in the sulky. 8 is Solemn Promise, owned by Robert Lewis Sr. with Jeff Fout. 9 is Black Gold, owned and driven by Willard Miller. And the 10 horse is Rhinestone Ring and Bell by Tom Rhine and Doug Rhine. Brett Miller is up. Post time in 6 minutes. There they go. And they're off a pair of breakers, the 6 Ultimo Mac and the 3 West Lane, both off stride. And now going off stride from the outside, Solemn Promise. Taking the lead from between horses, it's O Clarence by 3/4 of a length. Sir Chad driving through from the inside and Took the Call is trotting on from 3 wide. Coming away in fourth is Worthy Chaplain, 2 in front of Rhinestone Ring and Bell. McGee, he is gaining ground early from alongside. Next in line, we have Black Gold, followed by Solemn Promise and Ultimo Mac. The distant trailer still on a break is West Lane, opening quarter 29-4. Trotting past the stands, it's Took the Call, working hard to try to clear off from O Clarence, and does so now under the wire with 5/8 to go. That leaves McGee uncovered on the outside second. O Clarence back to third. Rhinestone Ring and Bell with the cover trip fourth. Sir Chad locked in fifth. Third over Solemn Promise is 6th as they race around the turn on their way to halftime. Racing in 7th position, that's Worthy Chaplin, then 2 lengths farther back to Black Gold, followed by Ultimo Mac. The distant trailer now back trotting West Lane off a half in 1 minute and 4. Leading the way down the backstretch, it's Took the Call by a length and a quarter. O'Clarence gapped out there, and McGee can drop in the pocket, but now O'Clarence is going to close it right back up. Rhinestone Ring and Bell still second over on the outside, 3 off the lead in 4th. Solemn Promise from the rail is 5th. Next in line is Worthy Chaplin, is brought to the outside in 6th, and you can forget about the rest. 3/4 up in 1:30 and 1. Bound for the head of the stretch, it's Took the Call, extending the lead to 2 lengths now. McGee could not stay with him. O'Clarence tries to re-rally along the rail. Finally tipping 3 wide is Rhinestone Ring and Bell, but that one seems to be empty as they turn into the stretch. It's Took the Call, leading it by 2. O'Clarence is driving out of the pocket second. 2 farther back to McGee in 3rd, followed by Rhinestone Ring and Bell, late trot Worthy Chaplin. It's Took the Call. O'Clarence has him collared in the final yards. Took the Call to go second. McGee was 3rd. At Ohio, Kyle Ader is the winning driver. By Thomas Price with Mark Winters up. The 2 horses, Max Man by Turbulent Air Inc., Jim Daly. 3, Scioto Downs by Josh Green, Jeff Nysanger will drive. 4 is Falcon's Last Star by Leonard Buckner with Jeff Fout. 5 is out. 6, Loaded Cannon by William Roush with Charlie Schoonover. 7 is Game Cisco by Martha Fisher with Kane Kaufman. 8, KF Cam by Hank Kaufman and Scott Mogan, Chip Noble. 9 is Reed Racing's Magic Silk and Brett Miller. And the 10 is Sky High Rebo by Melby Ober with Dave Hawk. 6 minutes. There they go. And they're away and pacing. Off to a good beginning. First call goes to Game Cisco from the outside. Up close, Falcon's Last Star nearest the rail. Driving up from the extreme outside is Magic Silk, and KF Cam looks to be well positioned as they race around the turn. Gap of 3 farther back, Cincy Maynard comes away in 5th to the inside of Loaded Cannon in 6th. Then it's Max Man, who is 2 clear of Sky High Rebo, and Scootin' Duke brings up the rear as they pass the opening quarter, 27 and 1. In front of the stands for the first time, and Brett Miller and Magic Silk drive on to the front, leading it by a length and a half now. Game Cisco back to second, length and a half more. KF Cam looks to come to the outside third and was flushed out by Loaded Cannon, who has yet to see the rail. Falcon's Last Star gapped along the inside fifth. Third over sixth is Cincy Maynard. Then it's 2 farther back to Max Man, who's racing third last, to Sky High Rebo, and Scootin' Duke is the trailer. Over to halftime, up top, it's Magic Silk in 57 and 3. Rounding the turn into the backstretch. Magic Silk 3 parts of a length. Here's KF Cam on the outside to challenge second. Just in behind, Game Cisco is third. Gapping cover, Loaded Cannon fourth. Falcon's Last Star hemmed fifth at the rail, 3.5 off the lead. Third over Cincy Maynard will now have to go 3 wide around a tiring Loaded Cannon. And then we come down to Falcon's Last Star, followed by Max Man, and about 10 lengths back to Sky High Rebo as they hit the 3/4 in 1:27 flat. Moving around to the head of the stretch. Cincy Maynard from 3 wide. Nearest the rail, Magic Silk. It's those two who'll dispute it in the stretch. 2 lengths farther back to Game Cisco, KF Cam, and Loaded Cannon, and they're in the lane. Leading the way, it's Magic Silk, Cincy Maynard closing on the outside. Loaded Cannon is still in gear on the far outside. Loaded Cannon hits his best stride late and edges clear to win it. Then it was tight for second, Magic Silk or Cincy Maynard. Loaded Cannon, 3-year-old bay called by Camtastic out of Nyan Baker by Baker Field on by William Roush of Henderson, West Virginia. Charlie Schoonover trains and drives the winner, 157-1, a lifetime best. Here they are for the sixth race. One is Hoosier Brad, owned by O'Mara. Williams and McCluskey. Frank O'Mara drives. 2, Yeehaw Junction, owned by 3 Horseman Stables. Dave Hawk. 3, Trojan Spark, owned by Linda Rankin with Dave Rankin up. 4 is Italian Crown, owned by Wilson and Terwilliger. Henry Wilson drives. 5, Dr. Casey Curry, owned by Bill Farris with Don McCurgan. The 6 horse is Dusty Rosa Farms, Pips Gleamer and Jeff Nysonger. 7, Strikin' Bug is owned by Ruth Carroll and driven by Kyle Ader. The 8 horse, Lookout Blazer, is owned by Colors, Hope, and Rice. Tom Hope, the driver. 7 minutes. The gate is rolling for the 6th race. Trotters are lined up, and there they go. And they're off. Yeehaw Junction goes on a break and is back trailing the field. Italian Crown out for the lead. Now Strikin' Bug outsteps that one and takes over command as they enter the turn. A gap of 2 lengths farther back to Dr. Casey Curry, who drops in third. 2.5 more. Trojan Spark is fourth. A gap of 3 to Hoosier Brad, followed by Pips Gleamer, Lookout Blazer, and far back is a very rank Yeehaw Junction. Looks like Hawk has got him back on the trot, but he's about a 16th behind. Passing the opening quarter, 27-4. Up top leading the way, it's Kyle Ader and Strikin' Bug. It's a length and a quarter. Italian Crown from the inside second. Dr. Casey Curry a close-up third. Next in line, Trojan Spark is fourth. And there goes Pips Gleamer, first over and flying on the outside in fifth. Next is Hoosier Brad, who's brought to the outside. Lookout Blazer is second last, and the distant trailer remains Yeehaw Junction. Heads turn for halftime. Strikin' Bug leads at 3 parts of a length. Pips Gleamer to his flank in second. Italian Crown a ground-saving third. Dr. Casey Curry peeks to the outside fourth, followed by Hoosier Brad, Trojan Spark, Lookout Blazer, 58-4 for halftime. 3/8 of a mile remaining as they head down the backstretch. A battle ensues between Strikin' Bug and Pips Gleamer. A length and a quarter back to Italian Crown, who watches over the battling duo from third. Gapping cover, Hoosier Brad fourth. Dr. Casey Curry at the inside is hemmed fifth, followed by Trojan Spark, and Lookout Blazer is gapped out seventh in 1:28 flat. 3/16 of a mile left to trot as they move to the top of the stretch. It's Strikin' Bug drawing out to lead a length and a quarter. Pips Gleamer trying to hang tough. Italian Crown from the inside. Faltered a bit there as they turn into the stretch. Hoosier Brad on the far outside. Coming inside is 16th. It's Strikin' Bug. Italian Crown is back in gear now. Strikin' Bug, Italian Crown coming to him. But Strikin' Bug is game 4 straight on the local scene. Italian Crown to go second. Hoosier Brad third. Back to the winner's circle. Number 7, Strikin' Bug. 5-year-old chestnut son of Striking Sabra. Out of K Buggy by Shimitar by Ruth Carroll. Trained by Dan Ader. Driven to victory by Kyle Ader in 1:57.2. That's a lifetime best. The 5th straight victory for Strikin' Bug. And the 4th straight at Scioto. Strikin' Bug. Third, Bob Harper drives. 2 is 3 Aim High, owned by Abbott and Summers. Jeff Nysonger. 3 is Nina's Magic Trick owned by Giuliani and Hodkinson, Bill Long Jr. The 4 is Future Fox owned by Mullenix and Burer, Jim Daly. 5, Magic Sugar owned by William Duraco, Dave Hawk. 6 is Impressive Sabra owned by William Webb with Greg Grismore. 7 is Betty's Sabra owned by Byers, Burton, and Genser with Brett Miller up, and the 8 horse is Never Fold owned by Roby, and Chafin, Jeff Fount. Post time for the 7th in 6 minutes. Aces in the backstretch for the final of the Winning Key Farm Series. There they go. And they're off. The inside 4 were away very evenly. Squash You Like a Bug, joined by Future Fox from alongside. 3 Aim High, ducks to the inside 3rd. Driving on Magic Sugar from the center now 4th. Next in line, Nina's Magic Trick is 5th. Then it's 2 farther back to the outside trio. Impressive Sabra, Betty Sabra, and Never Fold. Moving to head stretch for the first time, and it's Squash You Like a Bug on the lead this time around, forcing Future Fox into the pocket. A costly 27-1 for the opening quarter, and she's leading the way. Squash You Like a Bug by a length and a half. Closely tracked by Future Fox in second. 2 back to the long shot, 3 Aim High in third. Magic Sugar back down to the inside 4th. Next in line is Nina's Magic Trick in 5th, and then it's Impressive Sabra, Betty's Sabra, and Never Fold trails the field. Rounding the turn on their way to halftime, it's 3-1 shot, Squash You Like a Bug, and Bobby Harper leading Future Fox by a length and a half. 3 Aim High 3rd. Magic Sugar waits no longer and comes to the outside, steadily gaining ground from 4th. 5 farther back to a faltering Nina's Magic Trick, sent up 3 wide around that one is Impressive Sabra, and then it's Never Fold and Betty Sabra. They're up a half in 57-4, racing midway through the backstretch. Squash You Like a Bug a length in front. Magic Sugar on the outside, the challenger second. Future Fox just in behind sits the pocket in 3rd. 2 back to 3 Aim High in 4th. Impressive Sabra looks to come into contention 5th, but is still 4 off the pace, followed by Betty Sabra, Never Fold, and Nina's Magic Trick is dropped away to be last. 127 flat for 3/4. Moving around to head stretch, it's Squash You Like a Bug on top of length. Magic Sugar on the outside. Future Fox way down the rail and swinging out 3 wide as the long shot 3 Aim High as they come into the stretch. Squash You Like a Bug is all out. Future Fox closing down along the rail. Late pace 3 Aim High. Betty Sabra the far outside. Future Fox. Nicole go to the window. Tight for second. Squash You Like a Bug 3 Aim High. Back to the winner's circle, the winner of the Winning Key Farms Series Final. This is Future Fox. 156-4, that's a lifetime best for the 3-year-old Bay filly by Tudor Scooter out of T&M's Foxy Lady by Listening, owned by Jim Mullenix and Jamie Burer of Walsion. Jim Mullenix trains, Jim Daly drives the winner to victory. Future Fox, 156-4. For 2 exacta returns $100.80. The triple 421 538.80. The offer the 8th one is Miss Badu, owned by David Morgan. Dave Hawk drives. The 2 is Bannockburn, owned by William Donovan with Del S. Miller. 3 is Accorday, owned by Karma Hodson with Ralph Lunsford. 4 is Titanic Tag, owned by Ivan Sugg, Duke Sugg, the driver. 5, Sorely Yours, owned by Footprints in the Sand Stable, Randy Cassava. 6, Starfire Action, owned by Raider and Pollock, Kane Kaufman. 7 is Wild Louie, under lease to Russell Britton with Joe Adamski. 8 is Sox Hanover, owned by the T. Cody Trust with Jim Shelton. 9, Village Girl, owned by Dusty Rosa Farm, Jeff Nysonger. And from the second tier is Bruce Wenger's Tom Bruce, the 10, driven by Harold Dick. 6 minutes. There they go. And they're off. Sorely Yours was urged off the gate. Miss Badu is close from the inside. Prominent from between horses, Bannock Burn. Coming away in fourth is Starfire Action. Driving up way out wide is Sox Hanover. And then we come down to Tom Bruce, who's 2 clear of Accorday. Gap of 3, Titanic Tag. And then it's Wild Louie, and Village Girl is last as they move to head stretch. And Miss Badu is the tempo setter as they hit the opening quarter in 28-2. Miss Badu leads it by a length. Sorely Yours hung out second. Off stride from the pocket went Bannock Burn. And then in third position is Tom Bruce. Parked on the outside, Sox Hanover fourth, followed by Starfire Action, who quickly closes up the gap in fifth. Next in line is Accorday, who swings to the outside. Then 3.5 lengths back to Titanic Tag, Wild Louie, Village Girl, and back trailing Bannock Burn. Rounding the turn on their way to halftime, it's Miss Badu on the lead. Miss Badu in 59-4. Off the turn and down the backstretch. Miss Badu by 2. Tracked by Sorely Yours second. First over grind for Sox Hanover on the outside third. Up on the outside, Accorday catching the cover. 3 off the lead in fourth. Along the rail, Tom Bruce is hemmed fifth. Third over, Titanic Tag sixth. 3 wide, Bannock Burn tries to re-rally in seventh. Followed by Starfire Action, Wild Louie, and Village Girl. And they're approaching 3/4. It's Miss Badu on top, holding her challengers at bay, 129-2. Moving around to head stretch, Miss Badu a length and a half clear. Sox Hanover second. Sorely Yours is dropping back along the rail, and Accorday still tries to rally on the outside as they make their way into the stretch. And it's Miss Badu under urging, leading it by 2. Sox Hanover still closing on the outside. Accorday in gear on the far outside. Miss Badu is desperate. Sox Hanover, Accorday, Miss Badu 3 straight. Sox Hanover second, Accorday third. .18 exacta, 509 even. Try 183, 2006 2260. Dave Hawk is back in the winner's circle this time with Miss Badu, her third straight victory. 159-3. That's good for a lifetime best. She's a 4-year-old daughter of Mystic Cole out of Country Calico by Mighty Crown, owned by David Morgan, the trainer of Newark, Ohio. Dave Hawk, the winning driver. There they are for the ninth. 1 is Starro Bingo by Odell Starr, Charlie Smith Jr. 2 is Barb's Clown Dancer, owned by Jim Duckworth, Jeff Nysonger drives. 3 Old Pete is owned by Jerome Grogan with Chip Noble. 4 is Slightly Expensive, owned by Weber, and Jolliffe, Bob Harper. 5 Winsome Winters, owned by William Carruthers with Dave Hawk. 6 Bread Box, owned by Gillum and Gillum, Jack Daly. 7 Impatient Falcon, owned by Kruger and Morlock, Jeff Found. 8 is Gifted Jade, owned by Glenn and Norma Huber with Greg Grismore. 9 Sharp Dress Sam, Reed Racing the owner. Brett Miller the driver, and scoring from the second tier is Playboy Savro by Charles and Christine Blankenship, the driver Dan Noble. Post time is in 6 minutes. There they go. And they're off. Barb's Cloud Dancer lagged off the gate and spots the field about 4 lengths. Moving out for the lead from the outside is Bread Box. Extreme outside, Sharp Dress Sam, Starro Bingo, prominent from the rail. Winsome Winter driving through between horses. Old Pete is 5th. Gap of 2, Slightly Expensive is 6th to the inside of Gifted Jade in 7th. And then we have Impatient Falcon, Playboy Sabra, and Barb's Cloud Dancer is last to the opening quarter in 27-2. In front of the stands for the first time, it's Starro Bingo and Charlie Smith Jr. leading it by a length and a half. Up on the outside is the favorite Bread Box, who's hung out in second. Winsome Winter gaps slightly from the inside third. Second over Sharp Dress Sam racing in fourth. Third over Gifted Jade fifth. Along the rail, Old Pete is sixth, followed by Slightly Expensive. And then we come back to Playboy Sabra to the inside of Impatient Falcon. And still trailing the field is Barb's Cloud Dancer. 57 seconds for the half as they round the turn into the backstretch. Up top, Staro Bingo, pressed from the outside by Breadbox in second. Along the rail, Winsome Winter looks to get shuffled back in third as the outer tier starts to roll now. Moving up on the outside is Sharp Dress Sam. They're midway through the backstretch, and Breadbox clears the top. It's Breadbox by 2 lengths. Sharp Dress Sam in is second. Gifted Jade rallies on the outside third. Slightly Expensive comes into contention fourth. Staro Bingo drops anchor fifth, followed next by Old Pete and Playboy Sabra, 3/4 in 1:27.1. Moving to head stretch. And leading the way narrowly, it's Sharp Dress Sam from between horses. Breadbox fighting back valiantly, followed on the extreme outside by Old Pete. And in between horses, that is Gifted Jade as they drive through the final 16th. And Old Pete strikes the front. Sharp Dress Sam back to second, Slightly Expensive. And Playboy Sabra, it's Old Pete, home on top. Sharp Dress Sam to go second. Looked like the 4 Slightly Expensive third. Back to the winner's circle, Old Pete, third win this season, 157.3, a lifetime best. 4-year-old bay stallion by Falcon's Future out of Ruled Out by Strikeout, owned by Jerome Grogan, trained by Calvin Wright, and driven by Chip Noble. $3.9 exact of 47.60. Try 394, 1,090.80.
Number 2 is Positive Scooter by Marvin Godown of Greenville, Ohio, trained and driven by the K-Man, Kane Kaufman at the lines. Number 3 is Groomsman, owned by Frenchie Fuller of Ostrander, Ohio, trained by Jim Pollock Jr. Todd Corky Jones is up. Number 4 is Mr. Gladstone, owned by Howard Jackson of DeGraff, Ohio, trained and driven by Jack Daly. Number 5 is Sammy's Big Guy by Robert and Paul Ann Sidley of Painesville, Ohio, trained by Marty Willem. Dave Hawk is up. Number 6 is Top Notch Tucson by Annette Horn of Timberlake, Ohio, trained by Susan Fisher, Danny Fisher, the reinsman. Number 7 is Comeback Cat by James Cummins of Nicholasville, Kentucky, trained by Jim Artledge Jr., Dallas Miller. Number 8 is Rough'em, owned by Enlo Atkinson of Kettering, Ohio, trained by Enlo Atkinson. Ron Powell is up. From the outside of the 9 is Beaumont by Robert Grubaugh Jr. of Salina, Ohio, trained by Roy Murphy Jr., Elliott Deaton. And scoring from off the second tier is the 10th, and Dara's Legend by Diane Webb of Versailles, Kentucky, trained by John Perrin. Sam Chip Noble III is in the sulky. 10th race, Stallions and Geldings condition pacers are now approaching the starting gate. Field in motion. They're off and pacing in the first call. Goes to the 4. Mr. Gladstone is hustled away for command here. From the inside, there goes Positive Scooter. Groomsman is along the rail third. Outside racing fourth. That's Comeback Cat. Along the rail racing 5. Then Dara's Legend coming away 6th. That's Sammy's Big Guy. 7 to the outside is Top Notch Tucson. 8th at the rail. That's Rough'em. 9th and trailing the field. That's Beaumont. As they roll around the first turn and over to the opening quarter and on top of the field. Leading the way, that's Mr. Gladstone at 90-1, but up on the outside, here comes Positive Scooter, the K-Man. Kane Kaufman rushing out of the 2-hole and up to take command. Opening panel in 27 2/5. Up on the outside, that's Positive Scooter. He's struggling to clear to the front here. Mr. Gladstone is now yielding for a garden spot. Trip racing in second. Under the wire with 5/8 a mile to go. Comeback Cat is along the rail third. The outside racing fourth now. First over, here comes Mr. Groomsman. 5th to the outside, that's Sammy Big Guy. 6th along the rail, that is Thendare's Legend. 7 to the outside, catching that cover flow. That's Top Notch Tucson. 8 to the inside here, that's Rough'em. 9th and trailing the field, that is Beaumont. They're halfway home, 56 2/5. Second quarter and 29 seconds flat. Out of the turn and down the backside of the go and on top of the field with the lead. That's Positive Scooter. Positive Scooter leads it by a length and a quarter. Mr. Gladstone is right at his back second, ranging up first over the outside third. Here comes Comeback Cat, and Comeback Cat is now at the leader as they roll to 3/4, and Comeback Cat sticks a half in front to the inside. Positive Scooter is trying to battle back as they reach the 3/4 mile mark of the race. 3/4 in 1:25 3/5. They'll pace the final turn and head for home, and Comeback Cat has now cleared to the front by a length and a half. Positive Scooter is struggling to stick with him in second. Up on the outside, racing third. Now that's Sammy's Big Guy slipping out 3 wide. There's Top Notch Tucson as they turn to the top of the stretch. Less than an 1/8 of a mile to go, and down the stretch they come, driving through the lane to the inside. Comeback Cat is opening up and drawing away from this field as they come to the wire. It's Comeback Cat in Dallas Miller, home a winner. Down to the mile, 1:54 4. Finishing second, here's Top Notch Tucson. Hanging on for third was now making his way to the winner's circle. Here's the official winner of the 10th race, number 7, Comeback Cat, a 3-year-old brown colt by Arts Place out of a Shannon Sapphire. She by Trenton, so by Jane Cummins of Nicholasville, Kentucky, trained by Jim Artledge Jr. Nicely handled here this evening by winning driver Dallas Miller. Home a winner in 154 4/5, establishing a new lifetime mark for the 7, Comeback Cat. Off the rail, the one is Falcon Jackson by Howard Jackson of DeGraff, Ohio, trained and driven by Jack Daly. Number 2 is GR's Dignitary. The lessee is also the trainer and driver, Roy Wilson of Lebanon, Ohio. Number 3 is Flashy Scooter by K. Rush of Kenton, Ohio, trained by Brad Crates, Sam Chipnell III. Number 4 is KB's Burt by Jeffrey Mark Brewer of Morrow, Ohio, who also trains. Dallas Miller is up. The 5 is Crazy Canuck, owned and trained by Patricia Rothar of Osceola, Ohio, with Greg Grismore. Number 6 is Gadget Man Ed by Stephen Kaufman of Arcanum, Ohio, trained and driven by Kane Kaufman. Number 7 is Clearwater Chip by Gus Hall of Lebanon, Ohio, trained by Tim Newton. Dave Hawk is at the lines. Number 8 is Treasure Cress, owned and trained by John Nelson, parent of Lebanon, Ohio. Jeffrey Neisonger, the driver. Number 9 is Rambo Robbie, owned and trained by Dan Ryan of Cincinnati, Ohio. Brett Miller is up. And scoring from off the second tier is Lasting Jeff, under the ownership of Eddie Blair, trained by Mark Deaton. Elliott Deaton is in the sulky. Field in motion. They're off and pacing and firing from the outside. There goes the 7, Clearwater Chip, middle of the racetrack. That's the 5, Crazy Canuck, way out wide. That's the 9, Rambo Robbie, as they scramble for the lead through the first turn. And on top of the field, Clearwater Chip now clears to the front for Hawk. And along the inside, racing in second here. That is the 4, KB's Bird, has come away nicely in second here. Up on the outside, racing third with a rush. Here comes Rambo Robbie. And Rambo Robbie is circling up on the outside, looking to take command as they roll around the first turn and over to the opening quarter. Opening panel in 27 3/5. Passing the stand for the first time, heading on down to the half. Up on the outside, now to take over the lead. That's Rambo Robbie. Up on the outside, racing second there. That's the 5, Crazy Canuck. Along the rail, racing third, Clearwater Chip. A rough-gated KB's Bird is racing fourth. Fifth is Falcon Jackson. First over the outside, racing 6 is Flashy Scooter. Along the rail, 7th, that's GR's Dignitary. Outside, racing 8th. That is Gadget Man Ed. 9th to the inside, Treasure Cress. And 10th and trailing the field, that's Lasting Jeff, who had trouble catching the gate. At the halfway mile mark of the race, halfway home, 57 4/5. Out of the turn and down the backside, they go off a second quarter and 30 1/5. On top of the field, Rambo Robbie and Brett Miller in from Northfield Park is calling the shots here by length and a quarter. To the inside, racing in second here, stalking here second. That's the 5, Crazy Canuck. Outside, racing third. That's the 7, Clearwater Chip. Along the rail, racing fourth here, that's KB's Burt. Second over the outside, racing in 5, that's the 3, Flashy Scooter. 6th is Falcon Jackson. Outside, racing in 7th here, Gadget Man Ed. 8th is GR's Dignitary. 9th here on the outside, that's Lasting Jeff. And 10th and shuffle back here, trailing the field is Treasure Cress. They're off 3 quarters in 128 flat. It's third panel in 30 1/5 as they pace the final turn and head to the top of the stretch. And Rambo Robbie is the one to collar with less than 1/8 of a mile to go. And down the stretch they come. And Rambo Robbie, he's with the lead here to the inside of the passing lane. That's Crazy Canuck, way out wide, 3 wide. Here comes Flashy Scooter down to the passing lane as KB's Bird as well. But as they drive to the wire, Rambo Robbie is going on tonight. He's going to win this one by a half. It's Rambo Robbie in front. Finishing second was the 4, KB's Burned, a photo for show. Time of the mile, 1:59 1/5. Wolf, she by Umbro Wolf, posting the 6th win of the 2001 campaign. Owned and trained by Dan Ryan of Cincinnati, Ohio. Nicely handled here this evening by Northfield Park's Brett Miller, the winning driver. 9-4-2-5. 9-4-2-5 remains unofficial. Time of the mile, 1:59 1/5. 9-4-2-5 is now official. 9-4-2-5 is now official. 9-4 exacta, $630. 9-4-2 all superfecta, a $2 ticket, $6,330.40. That's $6,330.40. Pick 3, 3 of 3, $379,823.